Is raw milk safe to drink? And seriously, why is it suddenly everywhere? From wellness influencers to the ancestral eating crowds, raw milk is being hyped as the next big health fix. But before you pour yourself a tall glass of unpasteurized milk, watch this. I'm sharing the facts to help you feel informed, and honestly, the latest research on this topic just might surprise you. As a dietitian, I hear all about the latest health food trends, but this raw milk one really had me scratching my head. First of all, why did it become so popular? Why do people think it's the new key to health? What do they think is wrong with pasteurized milk? And aren't they worried about the salmonella that can be found in raw milk? So I combed through a lot of influencer videos, blogs, and internet claims to figure out why raw milk has become the darling of influencers. And then I pulled the research to share the facts with you and determine who was telling the truth and who was just trying to get clicks at the expense of your health. Hey guys, I'm Amy Lawson, a registered dietitian, and if you are new here, welcome to Thrive Nutrition RDN. This channel is where we cut through the wellness noise with real research-backed info so you can eat better, feel better, and thrive. If you're into facts and not fiction for your health, hit subscribe and join our growing group of thrivers. First things first, what exactly is raw milk? Raw milk is simply milk that hasn't been pasteurized, no heat treatment, no processing to kill harmful bacteria. It's milk straight from the cow to your glass. And then there's pasteurized milk. This is the milk that you're going to find at your big grocery stores. And here's where it gets interesting. Pasteurization isn't some chemical process, it's literally controlled heating. Milk is heated to ranges of 145 Fahrenheit to 161 Fahrenheit for 15 seconds, and then it's rapidly cooled down. And that's it. And why do we pasteurize milk? Here's the part that might surprise you. Before pasteurization became widespread, milk was kind of a ticking time bomb. We're talking about the 1930s when milk was responsible for 25% of all food and waterborne disease outbreaks in America. 25%. People were getting typhoid fever, tuberculosis, diphtheria, and brucellosis from their morning glass of milk. Pasteurization not only made milk safer, it literally saved lives. We went from milk being one of the riskiest foods you could consume to one of the safest. But now, nearly a century later, we're seeing this massive pushback. So let's dig into why. Okay, I have gone through countless videos, blog posts, and Instagram stories, and I have identified the top claims people are making about raw milk.
Here's why our family switched to drinking raw milk. For one, it is easier for your body to digest.
Let's fact check them one by one, shall we? Claim number one, raw milk has more nutrients. This one sounds logical, right? Less processing should mean more nutrients. It can often be true with many other types of food, but here's what the research actually shows for milk. Yes, pasteurization does reduce some heat-sensitive vitamins like vitamin C, B1, B2, B12, and folate. But, and this is a big but, milk was never a significant source of these vitamins anyway. You want vitamin C? Eat a bell pepper. You want folate? Have some spinach. The nutritional differences between raw and pasteurized milk are so minimal, they're not even clinically significant. We're talking about negligible amounts that won't impact your health really either way. And just a reminder, there is not one magic food that's going to make you healthy or solve all of your problems. Variety is key. Claim number two, it helps with lactose intolerance. This one makes me cringe because it's giving people false hope. The theory is that raw milk contains natural lactase enzymes that help digest lactose, which sounds kind of plausible, but wrong. The research shows that raw milk still contains just as much lactose as pasteurized milk. Those enzymes, they're not present in sufficient quantities to make a difference. People with lactose intolerance still react to raw milk, sometimes even more severely because of the additional bacteria that's present. There are so many options out there in the alternative milk world, thanks to modern technology. So if you are lactose intolerant, I highly recommend you find one that fits into your lifestyle rather than take the risk with raw milk. Claim number three, it's good for gut health. Here's where people get confused. Yes, raw milk contains bacteria, but not necessarily the good kind. Raw milk bacteria are completely unpredictable. You might get beneficial bacteria, or you might get salmonella. It's literally a gamble with your digestive system and your health. Remember when I said that 25% of all food and waterborne disease were linked to milk before pasteurization? Well, cows didn't develop all new safe bacteria since then. Those same illnesses can still be found in raw milk. The whole point to being raw is that you aren't killing the bacteria, to include the bad ones. Hey guys, it's Amy during post-production here. I wanted to add one more thing because I know someone out there is already typing away. There is a small study that showed raw milk might support gut health, so let's talk about it real quick. Researchers followed 24 people who lived on an organic farm for 12 weeks, eating farm fresh food, including raw milk. By the end, they had more lactobacillus in their gut. That's a good probiotic that supports digestion and a healthy gut microbiome. Now, raw milk naturally has live bacteria, so that might explain the boost they had. But, and this is key, this was a very small observational study with a lot of lifestyle changes happening all at once, so we can't say that it was all thanks to just the raw milk. Interesting? Yeah. Conclusive? Not even close. So before we jump to big claims, let's stay grounded in the full picture. If you want proven gut health benefits, stick to probiotic foods like fermented veggies. Claim number 4, it helps your immune system. Now, this is where things get really interesting, and I want to be completely transparent with you about what the research shows. Some observational studies have found that children who drink raw milk on farms have lower rates of respiratory infections, asthma, and allergies. The theory is that heat-sensitive proteins like lactoferrin and immunoglobulins might support immune function. But, and this is crucial, these are observational studies, not controlled randomized trials. We can't prove cause and effect here. Plus, we have to factor in that these farm kids aren't just drinking raw milk, they're exposed to animals, to dirt, to diverse microbes, and completely different lifestyles, which could also impact the immune system benefits. And here's the kicker, these studies only looked at children. Zero research shows immune system benefits for adults. And even if there were benefits, we have to weigh them against the very real documented risks. My take on this, while the observational studies are interesting and do pose some good questions, I wouldn't base my health, and especially that of my children, on them. It's best to wait for more details from a clinically controlled study. Claim number 5, it reduces allergies. This claim comes from those same observational farm studies. But again, there are confounding factors. Kids who grow up on farms are exposed to animals, soil, microbes, and dust. It's not just the raw milk. There's no high-quality evidence showing raw milk alone prevents allergies. Seriously, there are just too many factors involved in these scenarios to definitively say the results are due to drinking the raw milk. Claim number 6. Raw milk is a great source of protein and contains more amino acids. Okay, 1 cup of pasteurized milk contains about 8 grams of protein. And 1 cup of raw milk has, drumroll please, 8 grams of protein. So what's the difference? Supporters of raw milk claim that it contains more or better amino acids, but there's really no strong evidence for this. Both raw and pasteurized milk are complete protein sources with all 9 essential amino acids. Pasteurization doesn't significantly change the amino acid profile or the protein's nutritional value. And a 2008 study in healthy adults found no difference in how the body used proteins from raw, pasteurized, or UHT milk. The bottom line is that both raw and pasteurized milk provide high-quality protein. The difference isn't in the protein, it's in the safety. All right, let's talk about what the internet and wellness influencers aren't sharing, the real risks. And yeah, they are a big deal. Raw milk can carry some seriously nasty bacteria, Salmonella, Campylobacter, E. coli, and Listeria. From 1998 to 2018, the CDC reported 202 outbreaks tied to raw milk, and that's 2,645 illnesses and 228 hospitalizations. Yikes. The CDC also found that 3 to 6% of raw milk samples test positive for harmful pathogens. That might not sound huge, but if you're pouring it into your coffee or handing it over to your kid, those odds are not in your favor. And the people most at risk, kids, pregnant women, older adults, and anyone with a compromised immune system. For them, raw milk isn't just a little risky, it can be downright dangerous. Let's talk listeria, for example, because it is no joke. In pregnant women, it can cause miscarriages, stillbirths, and serious illness to newborns, and that is just not something to mess around with. Add to the fact that it can make children, adults, and those with compromised immune systems very ill. Oh, and let's add one more thing to this risk pile, the bird flu. Yep, H5N1 was recently found in raw milk samples. That's a virus in a drink people are downing because they think it's healthier. And look, I get the appeal of natural foods, but in this case, natural does not always mean safe. Raw milk might come in a cute glass bottle, but underneath that old school aesthetic could be a bacterial roulette wheel. And speaking of nightmares, if you find yourself having trouble sleeping at night, perhaps it's because you haven't picked up one of these Eat Well, Be Well, Thrive grocery tote bags. Imagine ending the nightmare of ripped, cheap grocery store bags by using one of these not only stylish, but durable grocery totes. So make your dreams come true and pick up one today. I'm gonna drop the link below. So given all this info, why is raw milk trending again? Blame TikTok, Instagram, and a return to so-called ancestral eating. People are romanticizing back to basics health trends, and raw milk really fits into that narrative of unprocessed, local, and natural. But just because something is natural does not make it safe. So is arsenic, so are death cap mushrooms. Raw milk is trending, but it's not new. What is new is the scale of misinformation about it. So now consider yourself informed and you can make the choice. For more evidence-based nutrition content delivered straight to your inbox, no wellness BS, just the facts, sign up for my email list. I share exclusive content, recipes, and myth-busting insights that don't make it into these videos. Check the link in the description. Let me give it to you straight. Could raw milk contain some beneficial compounds that pasteurization might reduce? There is a very slight possibility, but the research is limited. It's mostly observational and mostly done in children, and at best, it's just intriguing. Do these potential benefits outweigh the documented, proven risks? Absolutely not. Pasteurized milk gives you the same nutritional benefits without gambling with pathogenic bacteria. Raw milk is not some superfood that social media might claim it is. It's not going to revolutionize your health or cure your allergies or give you some superhuman immunity. What it might do is make you seriously ill. Public health agencies across the globe advised against it, and for good reason. Look, I get it. In a world full of processed foods and corporate interests, the idea of pure raw milk could be appealing to some. But let's not forget that natural isn't a regulated term, and it doesn't mean it's the safest or most evidence-based choice. If you want to support your immune system and gut health, focus on proven strategies, eat a variety of whole foods, include probiotic-rich fermented foods made safely, get enough sleep, manage your stress, and stay active. It's not a fad, but it's the truth. And for gut-friendly recipes that don't come with a food safety warning, check out my anti-inflammatory meal prep video right here. And I'll see you over there. Until then, eat well, be well, thrive. Let me give it to you straight. Ooh, I sounded let me give it to you straight.
Sure.
I know. Let me give it to you straight.